situations. In the Baha'i faith, growing up as a child and teenager, I've experienced and witnessed horrible dynamics within long-term marriages between men and women lasting several decades, of women who submissively flock to the cocks of some of the most abusive, dominating, perverted, alcoholic, pig prick pedophiles ever, and of men who are pussy whipped pushovers stuck with hideously, morbidly fucked up cunt wives who are so lost with their unresolved child victimizations that it's quite clear to me that they live for no other reason than to sexually repulse men with their fat fucking junk food and other addictions. Baha'is are also fond of promising a great new world order of gender balance, equality of the sexes, and advocating women's rights, prioritizing the education of girls over boys so the girls can grow up and be better mothers and the primary educators of children, where men and women become two wings of one bird and every child has a loving mother and father, but being the successor religion and hereditary greatest manifestation of a God of progressive revelation from Abrahamic traditions, as Baha'u'llah claims to be a hereditary descendant from Abraham, it is important to examine that in a lot of weird Abrahamic religious traditions, God is not some mystical, gender-balanced, universal, loving order to bring about an end of poverty, suffering, and misery, but God is a polygamous, promiscuous monster with a perverted, giant, alien prick to rape anyone's orifice he can get into any time he wants for no reason whatsoever than to prove that he can. The great success of the great punk rock horror band Gwar, with David Brockie's lead character, Odorous Urungus, parodies this prick worship very well. God of Abrahamic insanity is a far worse barbaric patriarch than he is for the alpha male amongst wild animals. No wild animal in the ecosystem of Earth ever ritualistically believed he must sacrifice his own child of his own species for some deity, condemning his own son to a life of stress, or his own daughter to a life of stress, and humanity a life of inferiority as a slave, the way humans do with their bizarre caste systems and pyramid schemes. The beta males of Abrahamic insanity are the peons of the old caste system, the pyramid scheme, who are lucky to find wives who haven't already been knocked up by some rapist in the prima nocta tradition of the aristocracy, let alone as virgins at the time of marriage. These men are terrorized into protracted celibacy or somehow rationalized. They are not coerced and cock-blocked into homosexuality. Likewise, females are coerced into being beta females, the less favored mistresses and concubines and spinsters of the alpha stud males. The leftover second-hand pussy are unappreciated, and they are encouraged to have lesbian experiences or be celibate all the same. Evidence of the great mighty cock-blocking eugenic scheme of the Baha'i faith and its Abrahamic traditions is very real. There is evidence of a phallic symbol in their architecture that goes back to the pharaohs of ancient Egypt. They have an obelisk representing their future temple to be built some day in the future in Haifa, Israel. Baha'u'llah's polygamy, while not as prolific and notorious as Muhammad's, Joseph Smith's, Brigham Young, and other fundamental Mormons and Muslims, was very real and definite, with adverse consequences from the children of his expedient second and third wives, whose descendants all became and still are resentful, notorious assholes and enemies of the Baha'i faith. Not one of them had any loyalty with the mainstream Baha'is. The enemy within is very real. Yet with all that said and done, I still love Baha'u'llah for his great revolutionary liberation from the disgusting Islamic world from his lifetime and what still goes on today under Sharia, Shia fundamental laws in Muslim countries where women are treated like absolute shit. But I cannot overemphasize how the Baha'i faith has proven itself to be one big cock-blocking eugenics pedigree scheme to maintain the elitist reptilian parasitical bloodlines flowing and eliminate competition determined to cripple innocent children's psyche. The notion that the adults who were child victims of criminally negligent parents and child victims of other religious crackpots in their hypocritical, naive world need their parents' permission or prove their own parents are criminally negligent for crimes committed on them as children as a condition to achieve a lawfully healthy, natural sex life is a complete insult to injury and an injury to insult. Fubar, fucked up beyond all recognition. The parents of now adult victims of the criminally negligent Baha'is of Milwaukee, Oregon from at least 1977 through 1984 and the nearby Baha'is from other communities involved who had a hand in fucking me over, who all collectively all decided to all go bury their fucking heads in the sand, deserve a special place in hell. They are all finally senior citizens by now. They are all elderly people, 64 years old and a little older, some a little younger. They are all finally all old fucks. The last thing they will ever deserve is any kind of rights to parental consent over their adult children's prospects in marriage. These people are the scum of the earth. With a little luck, they'll all spend their last 5 to 25 years rotting in a rest home altogether, senile, at the mercy of their own complacency, with none of their children nor grandchildren ever visiting them ever again, if they even have grandchildren. Because at least with the case with my parents, with the legacy of their criminal negligence, they all made it quite perfectly clear they really wish I was never fucking born. And they probably all wish I was dead, now more than ever. So good riddance, each and every last one of you. And may your legacy of terrorism never be forgotten ever. Otherwise, more children will suffer.